Triple the joy at home as you elevate your experience with Flo's new Triple Play bundles. For the first time ever, bundle up and save on internet, TV, and home phone together for more satisfaction. For as low as $175, enjoy up to 35 megabits per second super fast internet, 70 TV channels with HD entertainment, and free landline minutes with the all-in bundle. Visit your nearest Flo store to sign up for a Triple Play bundle. Conditions apply.
TDC Automotive is paying for you. Deposit? We're paying. 3-month installments? We're paying. Pay nothing for 3 months because we are paying. Take a moment, catch your breath, and roll out with ease. Save over $20,000 off your new Toyota Hiace because TDC Automotive is paying. Get your Toyota Hiace today. TDC Automotive, #1 for a reason. Terms and conditions apply.
Pour it up, need the thirst quencher in my cup. If you have one, hold it up and say, must the brother colors in my life. Refreshing and nice, and I drink that what we like. Must stand you full of vibes, living full color, and I'm black and white. We do what we like, we live to enjoy life. Pour it up, different flavor. Load it up, load it up. If you have one, hold it up and say, must the brother colors in my life.
Announcing the development of the National Gender Policy and Action Plan. To be completed December 2021.
The National Gender Policy and Action Plan is a country document that will assist the Federation of St Kitts and Nevis in attaining gender equality and empowerment by
promoting social harmony,
addressing the unique concerns of men and women,
promoting equal opportunity for income generation, educational advancement, and upward mobility,
championing inclusivity.
Look out for the launching of our gender policy, a commitment to gender equality for all boys and girls, men and women.
Sponsored by the Ministry of Social Development and Gender Affairs with funding by UNESCO.
Good morning, St Kitts and Nevis. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Today is Friday, September 3rd, 2021. It's 11:12 a.m. and you're listening to Voices on WINN FM 98.9. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. Good morning and thank you guys so much for joining us today for Voices. Today we're going to be looking at the crime statistics for 2020. This is a breakdown from January to December 2020, and I'm going to share these statistics that we have here, and I'm going to get your feedback later on in the program. For those of you who are interested in calling in, the numbers to call are 466-0989, 762-0989, and 662-0989. This morning we're going to focus on the 2020 crime statistics, and we're going to try to break it all down and give you the numbers that we've been provided with by the police here in St Kitts and Nevis. So these numbers are coming in after numerous requests made to the police on several occasions, but I'm very happy that these statistics are now available and we can now share this information with members of the public. And I want you to listen keenly, take your time and listen, and of course I'll give you the opportunity to call in and to give your take on it, give your feedback, and we can have a very good discussion here this morning. As I said, this is some comparative statistics 2020 from January to December, and the distribution and detection of crimes. So let us begin. So as I said, this information came from the police yesterday, from their PR department. They provided this information to members of the media after several requests were made by members of the media and people in general in St Kitts and Nevis to know the 2020 crime statistics. Nevertheless, the information is here, and I would want to use this platform to share this information with you, the listening audience, as I believe it is very important for us to know what is happening here in St Kitts and Nevis. I find that we are sometimes a bit too, we guard information too much, and at the end of the day, it doesn't really do us any good. And so now that this information has been provided, I'm going to try my best to share this with you. So we're looking at major crimes for St. Kitts. We're going to begin with St. Kitts, major crimes for St. Kitts, and we're going to begin with murder or manslaughter. So for January to December, as I said, this is the statistics. So for murder, manslaughter, detected 4. Juvenile 0. Total 7. For shooting at with intent, total 1. For woundings with firearm, according to this, 0. Attempted murder, the total is 4. Detected was 1. For other bodily harm crimes, 119 is the total, but 81 was detected. For sex crimes, which include rape, indecent assault, 46 were committed, 29 were detected. Break-ins, 189, 30 were detected. Larcenies, 304, and 64 were detected. Robberies, 23, 7 were detected. Firearms and ammunition that were taken off the streets, 9, detected 9. For drugs and such as possession, importation, trafficking, 40. Malicious damage, 184. Detected, 76. And this also says other. I'm not sure what other is. It says 40, but 25 detected. So for murder, again, 7. Murder, manslaughter, 7. 4 were detected. Shooting at with intent, 0. Woundings with firearm, 0. Attempted murder, 4. 1 was detected. Other bodily harm crimes, 119. 81 was detected. Sex crimes such as rape, indecent assault, 46. 29 were detected. Break-ins, 189. 30 were detected. Larcenies, 304. 64 were detected. Robberies, 23. 7 were detected. Firearms and ammunition, 9. Drugs, 40. Malicious damage, 184. 76 were detected. Other, 40, and detected stands at 25. Now for Nevis, for murder, manslaughter, we have 3. Shooting at with intent, 1. Woundings with firearm, 0. Attempted murder, 2. 1 was detected. Other bodily harm crimes, 11. 10 were detected. Sex crimes, 1, which was detected. Break-ins, 41. 9 were detected. Larcenies, 44. 17 were detected. Robberies, 1, which was detected. Firearms, 4. Drugs, 19. Malicious damage, 18. And other, 4. So for the Federation, the total for murder was 10, and 4 were detected. For shooting at with intent, 1. Woundings with firearm, 0. Attempted murder, 6. 2 were detected. Other bodily harm crimes, 130. 91 were detected. Sex crimes, which include rape and indecent assault, 47, 30 of which were detected. Break-ins, 230, and 39 were detected. Larcenies, 348, 81 were detected. Robberies, 24, 8 were detected. Firearms, ammunition that the police took off the streets, 13. Drugs, such as possession, importation, 59. Malicious damage, 202. 85 were detected. Other, 44. Detected, 27. So for total, so when you have the murder, shooting at with intent, woundings, attempted murder, breakings, larceny, robbery, the final total is 1,114. Detected, 439. 439. Now the detection rate actually is 39.4%. That's 39.4%. Detection rate in Nevis is 49%, and the detection rate in St Kitts is 37.9%. 37.9% for St Kitts, 49% for Nevis, and in total for the Federation, it is 39.4%. I want to get your feedback on this information that I've shared. And of course, we can continue the conversation and go more in depth, as there's a lot more information here on these crime statistics for 2020. It says the St. Christopher Nevis Police Force Comparative Statistics, 2020 January to December, distribution and detection of crimes. And this gives you an entire breakdown of the crimes committed here in St. Kitts and Nevis, major crimes committed here in St. Kitts and Nevis in the year 2020. This information is very vital, for us to know what exactly is happening. And I think from this information that I have here, what is alarming is the detection rate, which is low in terms of, the police solving these crimes and knowing who exactly are the perpetrators. Now, I know, we live in a small society, and sometimes when you hear something happen to somebody, automatically members of that particular community would know. But I think the problem lies in trust. And some members of the community, people, generally have expressed that they prefer not to speak up. They prefer not to say something if they see something. They prefer to keep things to themselves, despite numerous calls made by the police to see some. If you see something, you say something. But people have expressed that they don't trust the police, and so they're afraid to say something if they see something, because they're afraid of the repercussions and what could happen if they say what they saw. And I think that too is a part of the problem, because I think the community has a very important role to play in the detection of crime and solving crime, because, of course, the police will not always be there, and it would be us, members of the community. But again, the problem is in speaking up and saying that, okay, this is what I saw, this is what I know. But again, it is easy for us to say, see something, or if you see something, you say something. But the repercussions and what comes after saying something after you saw something, is terrible, and that is the harsh reality. And so that is why you find people would usually keep things to themselves, and they would prefer not to comment to anybody, whether it be the police, whether it be us in the media. They prefer to keep that information to themselves. And this is not just a problem here in St Kitts and Nevis. We see this worldwide. We see this across the Caribbean, where countries would have a high crime rate, and the crime rate remains high. And for what reason? That is because there is this disconnect between the police and the community. If you look at, for example, Trinidad, on several occasions, the commissioner there, Griffith, he has made several pleas to members of the public to assist the police when solving crime. But as I said before, that is easier said than done. It is easy for anybody to come up and say, tell the police what you know, but sometimes when you're telling the police, you might very well be telling somebody that you should not have told, because they are working in collaboration with the criminal. And that is a thing that we see happening all across the Caribbean, all across the region, where you have in some police force corruption, high corruption. And that is why I believe there is a disconnect generally between police and members of the public. People generally have this fear that if they say something is going to happen to them or a member of their family. And that is why I think there is this distrust and disconnect with the police and members of the community. What are we doing to fix that issue? What is the police doing to fix that issue? I mean, we're humans, and people will always be people, but police officers need to be a bit more, or stand with integrity rather. And I think that would help to fix the, problem. That would definitely help to fix the problem. But if you're going to have a situation where you saw something and you said something, and 2 weeks later you can't be found because what you said, you basically reported something against somebody in a high position, that by a snap of the finger your life changes, then what do we expect? People are going to be silent. People are not going to speak up and say things. People are not going to report what they see. And that is the harsh reality. People are going to prefer to keep things to themselves. Is it, or is that something that we want? I don't think so. We would all hope that the police and the community cooperate so that crimes can be solved. But the harsh reality is that some people genuinely prefer to say nothing. We have a caller on the line. We'll take this call. Okay, we seem to have lost that caller. Let's take this other call. Okay, we've lost those callers. You can call us back at 466-0989 762-0989. Let's take this call. Caller, good morning. You are on Voices.
Good morning, Mr. Cornelius. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good, thanks.
Cornelius, this is Journey here. Interesting topic. Now, let me put my spin on this topic that we are talking about, crime. Cornelius, from the, let's say, the last 20, 25 years, we know how crime has escalated within our federation. Now, here's my take on this. This is a spillover. It's a spillover from, let me say, from the antithesis of life. And by that I mean those who find it easy to take life. Because there are such things as life and there is death. There is something that represents life and something that represents death. I want you to, if you have a pen, Cornelius, just write this word down, and in your spare time, I want you to Google it. This word is Ankh, A-N-K-H. Google that word and click on the images, and you do your own research. Now, going back to Lord Macaulay's letter, where he never come across a beggar or a thief. And this was in our people, our culture, and our spirituality. There was no need for anyone to thief. There was no need for anyone to beg. This was before Lord Macaulay made his observations on the continent of Africa. This was our spirituality. They broke us from that, Cornelius. They gave us religion. And within religion came Christianity. Well, let me say this, Cornelius. Spirituality is above Christianity. I want to say good morning to Mrs. Henry. I hope she's listening. Spirituality is above Christianity.
Right. Let us stick to the topic at hand, which is the crime statistics. What is your take on the crime statistics in terms of the detection rate?
Cornelius, until we find out who we are, we will not be having crime. Because here is it that I am saying, that we never had to thief. It is not in you or me. I wouldn't shed my colleague blood. Now, situation arise like two people would get in a fight. And way back then, they used to pull stones. Well, today, we have guns. How did that happen? Where did we lose ourselves? That we can now find it so easy to take a gun and take someone's life. This was not in us. This is not who we are. So going back to who we were it's like, okay, here is it, right? That if you're familiar with the G7, the G8, and today I'm referring to the European connections. They have the G21 now. All these decades from the G7 to the G8 and presently today, the G21, they cannot find a way to solve poverty, criminal activity. They cannot find. You know why? I bring it down to what we say here in our politics. If you create the problem, you cannot find the solution. The world peace that we need today right now cannot come from them who create the scenario. They cannot fix it. They cannot fix it, Cornelius. And who is going to fix it? As it was before, as above, so below. As it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. We are the ones who is going to fix world peace, Cornelius. And going back to the criminal activities that we have in our country, we have to know who we are. Because right now, we are lost. We are so destroyed by the narrative of the colonizers. Make no mistake about it. Now, I ask you to, in your spare time, Google this word that I gave you. I don't know if you write it down or not. And when you do, and if you do, just click on two images. One other thing, Cornelius, I'm going to finish now. Google the word Shango. It's spelled Xango, King of the Orisha.
Could you repeat that, sorry?
Yes?
S-H-N, sorry?
Okay, Axngo, Shango, King of the Orisha. Orisha. Cornelius, I don't know if you saw the movie Saw, the guy with the hammer.
Mm-hmm.
Are you familiar with this movie?
Yes.
When you Google this word Shango, go on images, and if you see anything that you recognize, I'll talk to you next week, Wednesday, sorry. Thank you for hearing me.
Thank you, caller, so much for your contribution. This is Voices on WINN FM 98.9. It's 11:37. We are still taking your calls, and the topic at hand is the 2020 crime statistics from January to December 2020. I want to get your take on the information that has been provided by the police in terms of how many crimes, in terms of murder, shooting, act with intent, woundings, attempted murder, break-ins, larceny, robberies, malicious damage, and the list goes on. Let us have a conversation on this. For those of you who tuned in late, for the detection rate in Nevis, for these crimes, let me just pull this back up real quickly. The detection rate in Nevis stands at 49%. And the detection rate for St Kitts is 37.9%. Therefore, the total detection rate for the Federation is 39.4%. 39.4% in the detection of crimes. So while we're on this topic, we're looking at the connection between, or the disconnect rather, between police and members of the community. And many feel that the reason why a number of cases have not been solved is because the police or the members of the community tend not to trust the police. What I'm seeing too is that from my standpoint, and I could be wrong and I stand to be corrected, but from someone on the outside looking in, I think in terms of solving cases, whether it be murder or attempted murder, robberies, break-ins, I find that some matters are rushed with great attention. Some matters are looked at with great attention. This is what we have to get this done right now, and others are left on the back burner. So sometimes you hear about a case 5, 6, 7 years ago, and to this day, you can understand the case has not been solved because perhaps it's a big case. But to this day, there is no update. Things are happening, and unless you ask a question, you get no update. Unless you ask a question, there is no update. And we think that is okay. We think that's fine. And these are the things that we accept. I don't know. We have a caller on the line. We'll take this call. Caller, good morning. You are live on Voices.
Hey, good morning. Let me turn off the radio. Good morning, Devon.
Yes, good morning. How are you doing today?
Man, are you giving God thanks? You know, we have a lot to be thankful for, you know. It's when we don't appreciate small mercies.
Wait, turn on your radio. I'm hearing some feedback.
I'm walking towards it. You know, Kelsey. So. All right, thank you very much, for your patience.
Yes.
Now, good morning, Journey, and then I'll get to the police thing. Now, all of that information Journey gave is incorrect, you know. It is who hunted their brethren to sell to the slave, those who are trading, the slave traders, who? And what did they use? The British gave them, actually paid them with ammunition, you know, so they had better ammunition. And Lord Macaulay spoke about Nigeria. He did not speak about the whole of Africa. You must correct your long term. Look, start. Cain kill Abel. Africans are tribal, and they, just like anybody tribe, even among the Carib, Arawaks, every tribe wants its preservation. And they would hunt each other. When they want wife and not wife, enough women, not over here, you go over there, you get some, you kill off the men. So to say that is not in our thing. So what is happening in thing, and what you talk about, you keep harping on Christianity, while you're overlooking the more murderous religion, Islam, unless you are a Muslim. But you must say if you're a Muslim. It's Muslims killing out their own black people right now in Africa, all across it. What is the history of Sudan? Black people went as far in the 20th century to be selling their own people in Sudan. And then you had the North and the South Sudan. So unless you are Muslim, you know, Christianity has done a lot of wrong. But it has done a whole heap of good. And I want to hear about Muslims, because you nicely like to skip over it. Who are the black people killing black people? Imagine you running from Africa to go to Europe. You go across the Mediterranean, so you're going to Libya. If you can't pay your bail, the Muslims are today trading Africans in the market. All across Nigeria, every country in Africa, black people killing black people, they're kidnapping them. So who trained these young men in Africa to kidnap people? The Trinidadians or the Guyanese? They're teaching us who are pirating ships and them. All people are people. The Bible said there's none that do it good, no, not one. So when it keep happening, the Christian, darling, they also gave you Muslim. Muslim is not original in Africa. And it came after Christianity. They have the same God. They claim the same Abraham. What has the Muslim brought to black people? All right, enough of that. Now let me get to the police thing now. The detection rate has improved, believe it or not, especially in St Kitts, you know. Imagine you got like 17%. Now tell me. You ask the question, why is it so low? Mm-hmm. Because there are many parties out there who benefit from the crime, whether murder, robbery, I'm telling you. Mm-hmm. There are many people who know. A lot of mothers know, you know. They know their son killed somebody. Sometimes they're right in the middle of the planning and the plotting.
And they don't want to talk about it.
No, because they want revenge. They listen to it. They don't caution the sons. You know, that's them in gang and their friend, right? And they love their friend to death. And they know that the gang or whoever plan to retaliate. You don't sit down your child and talk to him. And in some cases, call the police for them. But we still allow them. We haven't, and don't talk about the robbery and the last in the housebreaking. Where do you think they're carrying them? They have any, and you ever hear they have a warehouse with the goods in it? In the mother house, in the girlfriend house, in the auntie. And some people put in orders, you know. You know, they want a phone, you know, my phone ain't working. No, the person has no phone store. Mm-hmm. Boy, my child want a laptop. You know, they got to do online. Some of them got tablets, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I want to think the other way, you know. Our church down in South Panel, you know, much times we put in fan, they thief out the fan. In our church, you know, we have transformers that steal them. And the person who's stealing them, when you see them, they ain't got nothing.
Mm-hmm. No, you know, as you mentioned,
$5.
Okay, so as you mentioned, that part, which I agree with you. There are some parents and family members that know, and they are a part of it. I too would like to get your feedback on the claim that we've been hearing over the years, and we've seen you know, happen in other countries where police officers themselves and members of the police force generally across the region, even here in St Kitts and Nevis, have been involved. What is your take on that?
They come out of the same neighborhood they born. That's why I don't trust no police who come from any street by me, you know. I will not make any report to any policeman who from the same street like me. Sounds strange, right?
Mm-hmm.
In full view of the public, you see them socializing with the criminals. Sometimes you get the impression that they're part of the gang. So who are you going to the devil for justice? You see, police, the young ones are afraid to disassociate themselves. You know, sometimes they mean, well, you know, they start off and so. And then they say, boy, you're a rat. You know what I mean? Those in the thing, they intimidate them. So they want to come from, so they come. But boy, they want to join the police force, you know. Oh, remember me, you know, remember you're from up here, and I know where you live, and I know where your mother live.
So you think that's the problem right there, then?
Yeah, you see, that is why sometimes it's better to bring in the outside one, even though they're not bad, because they all come, some of them come in the same kind of environment, you know, and maybe they need, apart from the police training, some kind of self-discipline training, and maybe they should find out from some of them how they feel about work. Just because some gang couldn't work and go in some area, some policemen should not be posted in certain areas, because the very thought could be frightening to them. You see what I'm talking about, right?
Right.
The auntie live up there, the auntie son and the auntie daughter in crime. You know what stress that put on the policeman? Because family expect you to stick together. You know we know that one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Boy is your brother. Boy is your mother child. You want your mother child go jail? So when they put all that pressure on a young police officer, it's terrible. I mean, you see what the point I'm making?
Right. I'm following you, yeah.
Yeah. And the data sometimes, I must confess that sometimes the people who keep the police records, they don't understand numbers. And they don't say these are the serious crimes. When you have a crime gone down, they must say serious crimes have gone down.
Mm-hmm. And not crime generally.
Not crime generally. Because I used to collect the statistics, go out to the police station, and you know, we publish them in our document, the police statistics.
Right.
And sometimes what happened too, I don't know if it happens still, you find some of the outlying stations, because a country then, they do not collect statistics properly, they do not record them properly, and sometimes they are very late in submitting the data. Well, they could say they improve, but I'm telling you, I used to have to go and actually help sort them out. As simple as numbers look, some people don't understand numbers. And then after they had the fire, the prison break, you know, they had a prison fire story. The British came in and they set up a statistics program on the machine, right? Anyway, and they began to collect and to publish the major crimes. So if you were to pick up an older document, you say they don't match. Because the minor crimes are not captured in that program. You see what I'm talking about?
Right, I'm following.
So when they are speaking, they must say the major crimes. If they want to say other crimes, they could say other crimes, because other crimes cover a whole wide range. But our people are killing themselves because of selfish reasons. And a lot of parents out there demanding retaliation. If somebody kills my son, well, you ain't gonna go so. And you push that young boy in your house to get him or his friends to retaliate. But who is going to report? Seriously, who is going to report?
But what do you think? What do you think caused them to do that? To instead of reporting and going to the police to seek justice, why do you think they retaliate or take matters into their own hand?
Because they feel that justice is not being done quick enough. And another thing with the police, you know, sometimes we wait in vain. I'll tell you why. With this high level of retaliation, you know, a number of the cases are solved on the streets. Do you ever consider that? So when we're looking for detection, we should add to that a number of the suspects who were murdered. Then there's no case to solve. What we were having is justice in the street. So we say, well, long time, this and so. There's nothing unless they're going to come and tell you, look, the one with Sylvine was solved when Devon was killed. How would you accept that? You don't believe it happened?
Yeah,
it used to happen.
Yeah, I know you.
A lot of the cases I'm telling you was solved in the street. And I give God thanks today. I give God thanks for the young men who decided they had enough. Because we would have to import men. Because our society looking for revenge. You listen to them. If you were a Pamela labor where you're supposed to get wiped out and push out. The way we address each other. The hate. And everybody, well, I want to see what they're going to do there right now.
Well, you know, Carla, thank you so much for that. I agree with the position that you took.
Yeah, no, we show what people would.
I understand where you're coming from.
As I said, I want to commend the young men, and you know, some of you, as I said, they have things in Africa, so you kill somebody, get somebody to, you know. I don't want to say go confess on the radio, because you confess today, you might not live to reach home.
Thank you so much for your contribution. We'll take a short break, and we will be right back with Voices on WINN FM 98.9.
Announcing the development of the National Gender Policy and Action Plan. To be completed December 2021.
The National Gender Policy and Action Plan is a country document that will assist the Federation of St Kitts and Nevis in attaining gender equality and empowerment by
promoting social harmony,
addressing the unique concerns of men and women,
promoting equal opportunity for income generation, educational advancement, and upward mobility,
championing inclusivity.
Look out for the launching of our gender policy, a commitment to gender equality for all boys and girls, men and women.
Sponsored by the Ministry of Social Development and Gender Affairs with funding by UNESCO.
Campari grapefruit, easy for we. Brother, he no hard. Easy for we. Campari, he no come. Easy for we. Brother, he no hard. Easy for we. Add the Campari with the grapefruit soda. That easy. Bitter had the pre. Simple mixer, easy 1-3. Campari grapefruit. That easy for we. To mix a Campari grapefruit. Add 1 part Campari to 3 parts grapefruit soda. Drink at the bar, on the beach, or when the girl reach. Must be 18 years or older to drink. Drink responsibly.
Gift for Dad's birthday? Click. Ooh, Janice's retirement party? Click. Outfit for my girl's wedding? Click. With TDC Airbox, you click, we ship. Register for your free U.S. mailbox today and shop all your favorite stores online. Enjoy the convenience. Free consolidation up to £10. Competitive rates. Free package tracking account with live notifications. Free delivery and, of course, excellent customer service. Visit our website at tdcairbox.com and register today. For more information, visit our offices at the C.A. Paul Industrial Site in St. Kitts and Penny's Industrial cultural site in Nevis. Follow us on social media at TDC Airbox. TDC Airbox. You click, we ship. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back to Voices on WINN FM 98.9. We have a caller on the line. Caller, good morning. You're live on Voices.
Cornelius.
Yes, caller, good morning. You're live on Voices.
Now, it is true that the Arabs been selling Africans in Africa. It is also a fact that what we have today was bathed in blood of our ancestors by the Church of England, the Vatican. Now, Mrs. Henry, and with all due respect to her, I don't want this to be a back and forth, but Lord Macaulay, yes, he did say in his letter, and I am only saying what he said. He said he walked the length and breadth of Africa. I did state it earlier that the area, the geographical space he was referring to was Nigeria at the time. When he observed there was not a beggar or a thief. There's no way Lord Macaulay could walk the length and breadth of Africa. Africa is a continent. Let us be clear of that. He made his observation and he said until we break their backbone from their spirituality, their culture, and their education system, they will not become, for if the Africans think that anything that is English and foreign is better than theirs, they will become just what they want them to be, a truly dominated nation. There was a time in that space and Africa, that observation that he made was from generation to generation. You and I don't know how many generations have passed through that observation that he made until they broke us. This is why I am saying spirituality is higher than Christianity, because they broke us from that. In his letter is so profound. They broke us from our spirituality. What the book says, if you worship God, you must worship him in spirit and in truth. Jesus never mentioned the word Christian. Christian was mentioned either by Paul or someone of those disciples later down. Jesus never tell anyone to be a Christian. Let us be clear on this. And while Mrs. Henry is stressing that I am not going about the Arabs and what they're doing, yes, they're doing it. But my point is, before Lord Macaulay made his observation, there was no need. There was no police station in the continent of Africa. They broke us from everything that we had, even our very name. And they know why. Cornelius, our name had in power. It was vibration within the Most High. That's why now, in order for us to fix this criminal behavior that we have to know who we are. We have to find ourselves. Because what they gave us is keeping us away from what we once were. Mrs. Henry, this is what I'm saying. The Church of England is washed in blood of our ancestors in order for them to accept Christianity. These things are there on record. They broke us from our spirituality. Lord Macaulay is an Englishman. In 1835, he made his observations. Cornelius, until we get the knowledge of self, we are now so plugged into their narrative that we don't want to associate ourselves with our birthright. It is there. The book said in the last days, he is going to gather back his people, those who fled by ships, those who had chains around their neck, that's you and me, back to the land of their forefathers. So when we are saying, oh, I am a Kittitian because I didn't born in Africa, your foreparents went through that trauma that they imposed upon us. It is It is encapsulated in our DNA, in our blood. That's why right now, you have to see the word that is in the book behind the word. Look behind the word. Analyze what they put there to live out their narrative with us. We are living out their narrative.
Right.
We have to go back.
Right. Thank you, caller, so much for your contribution. It is 12 o'clock. We'll take this break now for the headline news, and when we come back, we're going to continue this conversation. It's 12 o'clock. We'll take this break for the headline news, and we will be right back.
You found the sound. 98.9 WINN FM.
We now bring you the headline news. The headline news is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, KDP Enterprises, The Grange, and Caribbean.
We are faced with tough decisions every day, but choosing the right home or motor insurance shouldn't be one. You need fast claim settlement from a company that's been rooted for over 31 years. And don't forget the A Excellent rating by AM Best. Make the intelligent choice. Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Reliable insurance that you can count on. Get a quote today for your home, motor, contents, and liability insurance needs, and make the intelligent choice. Caribbean Alliance. Tomorrow secured. Local agents, Dalil Walwyn & Co. Limited. Telephone 465-2631 or 469-5303 for the Nevis office.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International. By land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib. It's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
With the WINN Headline News, I am Kevon Brown.
And I'm Devon Cornelius.
Making the headlines,
St Kitts and Nevis COVID-19 death toll rises to 5.
The Center for Disease Control and Prevention issues new immigrant visa applicants guidelines. COVID-19 vaccination mandatory. The Pan American Health Organization's director provides update on Haiti. In Antigua and Barbuda, health authorities have indicated at least one of the individuals recently hospitalized with COVID-19 is a child. ABS Antigua reports on the impact of the viral infection on children, especially as the Delta variant becomes the dominant strain in the country. Internationally, U.S. President Joe Biden has declared an emergency in the state of New Jersey. At least 45 people died in the northeast of the United States as the remnants of Hurricane Ida hit the region with record-breaking rain. Now, the details.
A fifth person has succumbed to illness caused by the coronavirus disease in St Kitts and Nevis, bringing the COVID-19 death toll to 5. The COVID-19 situation report issued Thursday night, September 2nd, confirmed the fifth COVID-19 related death. The age, gender and vaccination status of the fifth death were not released by health officials. The fourth COVID-19 fatality was reported September 1st by Chief Medical Officer Dr. Hazel Laws after she revealed that a 59-year-old individual was found dead at their home. She said the police had launched an investigation and requested an autopsy, which later classified the death as COVID-19 related. As of September 2nd, 2021, a total of 1,166 people contracted COVID-19, with 990 on St Kitts and 176 for the island of Nevis. To date, 659 people recovered and 502 remain active.
Earlier this week, August 30th, in the U.S., starting on October 1st, 2021, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention is requiring that all immigrant visa applicants over the age of 12 be fully vaccinated for COVID-19. To contain the spread of the virus, the CDC determined this a necessary step in the United States' fight against the pandemic. Non-immigrant visas, tourist and student visas do not require this step. The critical things to note, according to the CDC, a COVID-19 vaccine listed for emergency use by the World Health Organization or licensed or authorized for emergency use by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration are acceptable vaccines. Applicants with symptoms of COVID-19 should be tested and postpone the immigrant visa medical examination until they have recovered. Who can waive this new requirement? People who are not age appropriate, depending on the vaccination stipulations. For example, Pfizer, the age range is 12 years and up, and AstraZeneca 18 and up. If an applicant has a contradiction or precaution to the approved COVID-19 vaccine formula, they are exempt. If none of the approved COVID-19 vaccines is routinely available in your country, a waiver based on religious or moral convictions, the applicant is exempt. This is not a blanket waiver. The U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services will determine if this type of waiver is granted. It has been just under a month since a 7.2 magnitude earthquake struck Haiti on August 14th that killed 2,207 people in the affected communities of Grand'Anse, Niepce, and sub-departments, with a population of just over 2 million. During the September 1st regional press briefing on COVID-19 hosted by the Pan American Health Organization, Dr. Carissa Etienne updated the public on the country's situation and needs.
Most of the functioning hospitals in the earthquake-affected area of Haiti are overwhelmed, and many health facilities have been damaged. We have injured people in remote communes who are still without medical attention because they can't reach health centers or hospitals. An urgent need today is to reach those people and to treat their injuries or to transfer them to health centers where they can be helped. To do this, we need more logistical support for the delivery of materials, for the deployment of people, and the transfer of patients. More than 24,400 people have been displaced by the earthquake to 58 assembly points, and they need health services where they are now located. 8 emergency medical teams, or we call EMTs, are in Haiti. 4 more are on their way, and others are on standby to help in this emergency. We desperately need to restore primary health care services in the affected departments, focusing on maternal and neonatal health services. In all, more than 12,000 people were injured in the earthquake and 2,207 died. We need more medical personnel. We need medicines and medical supplies, such as anesthetic drugs and orthopedic supplies for the injured. And another important need is the psychosocial support for healthcare personnel and for the people who have been affected by this earthquake. We are also working to avoid possible outbreaks of diseases, communicable diseases, while at the same time fighting COVID and helping to increase the vaccination uptake,
said PAHO's director. So far, PAHO has deployed help to the nation in various ways.
PAHO has deployed several specialists from our regional response team to the affected departments to support field coordination, epidemiological surveillance, health cluster coordination, emergency projects, logistics, EMT coordination, and others. Additionally, PAHO has deployed 27 tons of medicines and supplies, including a hurricane kit, trauma kit, shelter kit, and others.
However, Dr. Etienne stressed that the country and its people must not be ignored.
The people of Haiti must not and cannot be forgotten, and we will continue to work until this challenge is met.
Damage to Haiti did not stop with the earthquake. On August 17th, just 3 days after the quake, the country saw heavy rains from Tropical Depression Grace, which triggered flooding and mudslides in some areas already affected by the earthquake. All this after the assassination of Haiti's President Jovenel Moïse on July 7th. In Antigua and Barbuda, health authorities have indicated at least one of the individuals recently hospitalized with COVID-19 is a child. ABS Antigua reports on the impact of the viral infection on children, especially as the Delta variant becomes the dominant strain in the country.
While COVID-19's effect on children is no more severe than in adults, the associated symptoms are still worrying. So says consultant pediatrician Dr. Arlene Serendo.
Fever and cough are your most common symptoms, but also to headache, chest pain, shortness of breath, a lot of gastrointestinal symptoms, so vomiting, nausea, diarrhea can also present, just weakness, fatigue, loss of smell and taste, just like in the adults as well, and conjunctivitis.
The doctor points to long-haul COVID-19 or post-COVID-19 syndrome, which is also now affecting adolescents.
That tends to happen usually, generally somebody will have COVID or a child will have COVID, and in about 2 weeks you expect the symptoms to start to wane and they feel better. But in this long COVID, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks later, we're still seeing the symptoms.
She warns, although not yet seen in Antigua, there is a co-pandemic of sorts, as many children elsewhere have been presenting with what is referred to as pediatric multisystem inflammatory syndrome after contracting COVID-19.
What happens is that the virus causes the body to attack its own blood vessels. And so the blood vessels become inflamed in the body. So in the gut, in the heart, in the kidneys, and these children can present very ill.
She says if you, as a parent, see any of the mentioned symptoms in your child, you should not hesitate to see a healthcare professional. For ABS News, I'm Ursula Charles Jr.
We now bring you these international reports.
The Northeast woke up to flooded cities and impassable streets. Many had to be rescued as the remnants of Hurricane Ida made their way north more than 3 days after first making landfall thousands of kilometers away in Louisiana. There were even tornadoes, seeming to catch heavily populated big cities like Philadelphia off guard with record rainfall. Serious flooding caused the complete shutdown of the subway system. The New York borough of Queens suffered the most fatalities in the city, at least 12 residents dying as water flooded basement apartments. The first crisis for New York's new governor.
The human loss, which is hard to imagine, that people simply in their cars, in their homes, in their basements, succumb to the ravages of a brutal storm, and their families must just be in such pain this morning.
In New Jersey, Governor Phil Murphy was out early Thursday visiting the town of Malika Hill, hit by those tornadoes, which left devastation normally associated with the southern United States. The ferocity of the storm took many by surprise, trapping families in basement apartments and motorists on roadways that quickly turned to rivers. More than 20 centimeters of rain fell overnight in some areas. That's as much as typically falls in the entire month of September.
When I stopped.
This man we spoke to in New Jersey had stopped in his truck to take a video
Look at this.
when water in the street suddenly began to rise.
The river. All of a sudden, I looked down the road, and literally it was like a river coming towards me. And me and my daughter, my 12-year-old, were with me, and we just panicked. I put it in four-wheel drive and just backed out real quick before it submerged my truck.
Northeastern governors and President Biden say the trail of destruction left by Ida is yet more evidence of climate change's impact on weather systems across the United States. And Biden says the country needs to prepare for more to come.
We need to act. When Congress returns this month, I'm going to press for their action on my Build Back Better plan. That's going to make historic investments in electrical infrastructure, modernizing our roads, bridges, our water systems.
For those left counting the cost of Ida's destruction, relief can't come soon enough. Kristen Salumi, Al Jazeera, New Jersey.
AstraZeneca and the EU have patched up their differences over vaccines. The drug maker has reached agreement with the European Commission on delivering future doses. It has committed to delivering 60 million shots by the end of the third quarter and 75 million by the end of the following quarter. Now the agreement also ends pending litigation by Brussels. The European Commission launched the legal action in April. It said the firm hadn't honoured commitments on vaccine supplies and had no reliable plan to ensure deliveries. The new agreement allows for rebates in the event of delays, and it lifts a cloud that had hung over AstraZeneca. Its cheap and easy-to-use vaccine had been dogged by problems, including the legal dispute and concerns over side effects. Shares in the drug maker eked out gains on Friday morning, beating a flat start for the broader market.
You were listening to the WINN FM headline news on 98.9. Our top stories were:
St Kitts and Nevis COVID-19 death toll rises to 5.
The Center for Disease Control and Prevention issues new immigrant visa applicants guidelines. COVID-19 vaccination mandatory. The Pan American Health Organization's director provides update on Haiti. In Antigua and Barbuda, health authorities have indicated at least one of the individuals recently hospitalized with COVID-19 is a child. ABS Antigua reports on the impact of the viral infection on children, especially as the Delta variant becomes the dominant strain in the country. Internationally, U.S. President Joe Biden has declared an emergency in the state of New Jersey. At least 45 people died in the northeast of the United States as the remnants of Hurricane Ida hit the region with record-breaking rain. Thank you for listening.
That was the WINN FM headline news. The headline news was brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, KDP Enterprises, The Grange, and Carib Brewery.
With over a century of perfection behind the Mackeson name, a smooth blend with perfect balance and richness, it's no wonder Mackeson Triple Stout has a legacy of perfection. Enjoyed the world over. Introducing our new look with the same great taste. Mackeson. All hail the king. Please drink responsibly.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
We are faced with tough decisions every day, but choosing the right home or motor insurance shouldn't be one. You need fast claim settlement from a company that's been rooted for over 31 years. And don't forget the A Excellent rating by AM Best. Make the intelligent choice. Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Reliable insurance that you can count on. Get a quote today for your home, motor, contents, and liability insurance needs, and make the intelligent choice. Caribbean Alliance. Tomorrow secured. Local agents, Dalil Walwyn & Co. Limited. Telephone 465-2631 or 469-5303 for the Nevis office.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is WINN FM.
Announcing the development of the National Gender Policy and Action Plan. to be completed December 2021.
The National Gender Policy and Action Plan is a country document that will assist the Federation of St Kitts and Nevis in attaining gender equality and empowerment by
promoting social harmony,
addressing the unique concerns of men and women,
promoting equal opportunity for income generation, educational advancement, and upward mobility,
championing inclusivity.
Look out for the launching of our gender policy, a commitment to gender equality for all boys and girls, men and women.
Sponsored by the Ministry of Social Development and Gender Affairs with funding by UNESCO.
September is the month of heroes in St Kitts and Nevis. And for the months of September to October, Bosphorus Automotive wants you to be a hero too. Yes! Drive like a hero at the massive Bosphorus Automotive Be a Hero sales event. Go to Horsford's Automotive today and drive away like a hero with up to $35,000 discount on select models. Your choice of either free gas for 3 months or up to $1,000 in free groceries. Pay just 10% VAT. Yo, just 10% VAT. Free servicing for 1 year. Free bill of sale. Free registration, licensing, and tinting. Zero down payment. That's right. Absolutely zero down payment. And much, much more. Drive away like a hero from Horsford's Be a Hero sales event. The biggest, most heroic sales event ever in the Federation. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
Welcome back to Voices on WINN FM 98.9. It's a beautiful Friday. I'm giving thanks for life. It is 27 minutes past the hour of 12, and we are back with Voices. For those of you who are interested in calling in, the numbers to call are 466-0989, 762-0989, and 662-0989. We actually have our first caller for this afternoon, so we'll take this call. Caller, good afternoon. You're on Voices.
Hello?
Hello, good afternoon. You're on Voices.
Good afternoon, Mr. Cornelius. How are you today?
Good afternoon. I'm fine, thanks. And you?
Okay. I want to continue in a trend that I started and left off with last time when I told you about the lady, Rosa Parks.
Right, but today, right. Right, caller, before you continue, today we are focusing on the 2020 crime statistics.
Yes,
that were recently released, and we wanna get your feedback on those statistics.
Right. And so here we are today. We're talking about crime and the statistics and the breakdown. Petty larceny, robbery, homicide, you have it all. When did we get like this? History. It's all about history. And this is what I'm talking about. Annually, we come out with crime statistics as to glean, are we improving as a society or are we getting worse? And there's the pros and the cons as to what we might come up with as a community, as to say, well, certain things might might have fallen, but certain things escalated in terms of petty larceny, murder, rape, you name it. And so, but how did we get this way? And this is where I'm going. History is a light that illuminates the past and a key that unlocks the door to the future. And so it was profound for me to hear the last caller spoke about something that shaped our history, something that was a part of our curricula for quite a while, even though now we have mustered our own curricula as a community, as a Caribbean people. We have come up with our own curricula to guide our path. But yet we are still plagued by crime. And annually we come up with the statistics of crime. And this is what we are here discussing today. So Lord Macaulay's letter was profound. There's no getting around this. This is history. This was etched in history. His address to the British Parliament as to how we're going to deal with these people. And might I add, we are still British subjects in the sense that we are independent, but the Queen is still our head of state. When we swear in after an election, when we swear in Parliament and the government, we hold the Bible and we say, we pledge our allegiance to the Queen, her heirs and successor. So we are still under that sort of, that monarchy, so to speak. And this is what is affecting us. At one time, there was no crime. There had to be no need for a prison or a police station. This is where we were. This is how we want to live. How can we get back to that point without all of this, without denying this? Are we denying this? Are we have our heads in the sand like the proverbial ostrich, denying that we must get back to our spirituality, our way of life, our culture, our education system, so that the youth, and it's so much to be said, Mr. Cornelius, because we are saying, okay, we have 10 commandments that would guide us as to what not to do and what not to do. But it wasn't not what to do, because once upon a time we knew not to do these things. So those 10 commandments was on the negative. I have not done it, as opposed to I shall not do it. I ain't supposed to do it. No, because we know we ain't supposed to be doing these things. If we need something, and you hear stories about, we don't have sugar, but our neighbor has sugar. Your neighbor don't have rice, but we have rice. And that's how we live as a community. Now I heard Mrs. Henry say something about the Egyptian, and I'm going to bring it to the Nevis thing. Why Nevis? Because Nevis had went out into the sugar, and you as a Nevisian would have known where siblings would have been on 2-3 acres of land, and they build their families. Your brother or your sister build the family, the nephews and the nieces. They go over to the brother or the sister, nephew or nieces in close proximity. Mrs. Henry, good afternoon. So when she said about the black pharaohs went and invaded Egypt, yes, the pharaohs, they weren't called pharaohs at the time, but those from Cush went into Misraim, because Cush and Misraim were brothers and they were brothers, according to Genesis chapter 10, Mrs. Henry. And you know that, according to the narrative that was given to us with the 3 sons of Noah, according to that narrative. But Misraim wasn't Shem, from Shem or Japheth. Misraim was also from Ham. So it didn't make it better that in Nevis, where the siblings live, they were siblings, resemble each other by phenotypes and different things, because they might have been from the same parent. And so, yes, you are reading from the National Geographic, all respect to you, Mrs. Henry, where they will say, oh, the black pharaohs from Cush, where who are in Egypt, they are not black, they are just different ethnicities in terms of the blackness, like you say in Nigeria and Benin. They are the same ethnicities that would cross borders, however those borders were before the international borders came in. So you don't say. You're saying like, oh, the black pharaohs went into Germany, saying the black pharaohs going into Egypt. No, the black pharaohs, they were all black their ethnicity, but sometimes they occupy spaces. What you say about those that came from Cyrene, Numidia, in what we call Libya today? They came to, they were called the Sea People, that came into Egypt, and they ruled. The Ewe, the Akan, they are found in Ghana today. The Gaadambe, they are royalties. The Dogons, the Lemba people, all those people once ruled with what we call dynasties or dynasties, families that ruled. One family would have ruled for probably 30, 40 years because it passed on from brother to sibling and so forth and so forth. They had women too in that particular dynasty. And then another dynasty. The 25th dynasties went to rescue Hosea, king from Palestine, Judah, when he requested that the Assyrians is on him and he needed help. So Shabaka and Pianki, those two, Shabaka especially in Kings and Chronicles, you will see that where they went and they drove off the Assyrians from invading the Israel people. So you can see the oneness. How could they would have been enemies of Israel when Israel is requesting these people to help them from the real enemy? So Mr. Sen-
Caller? Okay, we seem to have lost that. Caller, you can call us back at 466-0989, 762-0989, and 662-0989. We have a call. Let's take this call. Caller, good afternoon. You are live on Voices.
Good afternoon, Cornelius.
Yes, good afternoon.
Cornelius, I just want to bring something to the fore, something very historical. I was trying to get Mr. Bacchus during the lunch hour, but I lost, this is Journey. I lost his number. Cornelius, on the 7th of this month, this would be next week, Tuesday, an historic event is going to take place with the African Caribbean Secretariat Summit. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with the African Union, but there's Asaki Mohammed, who is African. He's going to be at this meeting. Also, Mia Motley, what's the president, the prime minister who had that thing with the lady? His name is escaping me now. The lady that threw the stone and hit him.
Ralph Gonzalez?
Ralph Gonzalez, yeah, thank you. Ralph Gonzalez is going to be there. David Commerson and George Talbot. Now, this is a very historic event because for the first time, the African going to have a summit with the Caribbean. And I just want to know if Mr. Bacchus, if you can relate this to him, it's the first African Secretariat Caribbean Summit. It's going to be taking place on Tuesday, the 7th of September. I'm not sure if it's going to be a Zoom. I think they might be leading towards a Zoom conference. By now on Tuesday, I think there might be some update as to if it's going to be in the Caribbean or Zoom. So if Mr. Bacchus or any one of your journalists have any contact with any of the Mia Motley, I think she might know about it. Surely she knows about it because I don't think I heard anyone from St Kitts and Nevis name called. They're also going to be a delegate from Haiti at this conference. So if one of you guys can, make a call to whether Ralph Gonzalez or Mia Motley to find out about this historic event and see if you guys can get some coverage on this on Tuesday. Now, one other thing, Cornelius, about our crime rate and everything, right? Now, why I mentioned what I did earlier about who we are and going back, because you see, the crime rate that have spilled over in our country here, looking back at the years 20, 25 years back, when our young men was taking lives by gun violence. These things, Cornelius, I don't know about you, but I don't think I can just pull a trigger and kill someone. I can't do that because this is not my nature. I mentioned the antithesis of life and death. Now, let me just point something out to you, Cornelius, because right now this thing is big in South Africa. And how? You know, there's just, apart from the president in South Africa, right, there's two families that rule South Africa right now, and these families are white. But let me give you a brief rundown as how white come to accumulate what they have in South Africa. A white, whether from Belgium or the British or wherever they came from, when they made their entrance onto the continent of Africa, you know how they come to accumulate the land? They get onto a horse, and they trot the horse from, let's say 5 o'clock in the morning, from one point west, and they rode the horse go east, and whenever that horse burned, that horse stayed there overnight with the rider. And this right, it's not just one person who was riding on these horses. And then when they replenished the horse from where it burned, they got up the next day and they rode again until the horse burnt out. This is how white people come to acquire land on the continent of Africa. It is there. You can go from the Berlin Conference in 1884, when they cut up the continent of Africa. This is how they did it. These people. I got to choose my word, Cornelius, because I don't want to. I like to condemn them for the act that they did. And while Mrs. Henry is going to be apologetic for what they did, Cornelius, I want you to know as a young man that the hands, I mentioned some months ago, that the Queen of England sent back 17 heads of our ancestors back to South Africa. 17 heads, Cornelius. They was in jars. These heads of kings who never convert to their religion. Because back then, if you don't convert from your spirituality, they chop off your head. The Church of England and the Vatican, their hands are washed in our ancestors' blood. I can't emphasize on that enough for our people to understand that what they broke us from was higher than the religion. Now, nothing is wrong with Christianity, Cornelius. Nothing is wrong with Christianity, but the question we should ask ourselves, whose Christianity are we living out? Their narrative or our own? Because Christianity is Christianity, but we had spirituality that was connected with the Most High. Lord Macaulay's letter broke us from that. Thank you for hearing me.
Thank you, caller, for your contribution. We'll take this short break and we will be right back.
It's happening again. By popular demand, we're doing it again. Yep, we're doing it again. Horseman's Furniture and Appliances is once again giving away double cash back for free groceries for the months of September to December. Every customer at the Horseman's Furniture and Appliances showroom in St Kitts and Nevis gets double cash back coupons for absolutely free groceries. But it doesn't stop there. Every higher purchase customer will also get a chance to win. Yep, get double cash back for free groceries and a chance to win absolutely free groceries for a year with every $100 spent on higher purchase. By popular demand, we're doing it again. Double cash back for free groceries, plus a chance to win free groceries for a year. Come to Horseman's Furniture and Appliances today and expect low prices, expect great quality, expect free delivery, expect double cash back for free groceries, expect a chance to win free groceries for a year, expect the extraordinary terms and conditions apply.
Announcing the development of the National Gender Policy and Action Plan. To be completed December 2021.
The National Gender Policy and Action Plan is a country document that will assist the Federation of St Kitts and Nevis in attaining gender equality and empowerment by
promoting social harmony,
addressing the unique concerns of men and women,
promoting equal opportunity for income generation, educational advancement, and upward mobility,
championing inclusivity.
Look out for the launching of our gender policy, a commitment to gender equality for all boys and girls, men and women.
Sponsored by the Ministry of Social Development and Gender Affairs with funding by UNESCO.
Caller, good afternoon. You're on the air. Okay, we seem to have lost that caller. Numbers to call up 466-0989, 762-0989, and 662-0989. This is Voices on WINN FM 98.9. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. If I may bring in something quickly, just some questions that I got earlier that I wanted to pose to members of the public and to anyone willing to respond. But before I do that, let's hit this call. Okay, we lost that caller. Caller, good afternoon. You're on Voices.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Cornelius.
Good afternoon. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm good. I agree every voice must be heard on Voices, and every opinion should be given, free expression. But frankly, Mr. Cornelius, I question the value of litigating the role of Christianity in promulgating slavery at this juncture in our history. I also question the motives of those who want to denigrate the tribes of Africa for the darker side of their history, as Mrs. Henry and others often do. I mean, do you hear any other race harping on the objectionable things that its race did to each other or to other races in the past, in the distant past?
Mm-mm.
I mean, do you hear Europeans or Asians lambasting the feudalism that was commonplace, that was prevalent, and just as oppressive as slavery? You don't hear them doing that.
Right.
Right? They don't, because they have moved beyond that. Okay, they've moved past that era and have developed systems that make them the dominant powers on the world stage today. I mean, I wonder if there are even folks on the African continent who are as passionately engaged in these kinds of conversation as us in St. Kitts. For, in my opinion, they have no relevance to our current problems.
Uh-huh.
Right? I doubt very much that they do. Right? By all means, strive for improvement in contacts and relations with African countries, but it should be in the context of the future, right? Future cooperation and mutual development, not dwelling on details of past enslavement and colonialization. Right? It should be about strengthening our position as a race vis-a-vis the other races in the world today. It should be about, I think, uniting, not further dividing our people, as this issue seems to do, as you can tell from the different opinions that you have on the show. It should be about strengthening our governance systems to get rid of the perception out there in the world that we are all a bunch of failed states led by corrupt leaders. This is 2021, not 1821. You can't forever blame slavery for our condition. And those who do so, I think, whether knowingly or unknowingly, consciously or subconsciously, they are in collusion with those who are saying that we should get reparations from the tribes, for they were complicit in the slave trade as well. I mean, which side are you on? You know, you should be on the side that advance our race, not retrogress to a distant past, right? That just opens old wounds, okay, make them raw again and divide our people. I don't think that Caribbean people have an identity crisis as these folks would contend. I just don't. I really don't think that we know we are black, we know where we came from, we know what position we hold vis-a-vis our past colonizers and the more developed countries. That is what's important, okay? Because that, knowing that, being conscious of that, is what's going to make us advance in the future. Now, as for your crime statistics, Is there a heading on those statistics that deal with white-collar crime, as far as you know?
No. And thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, you would think that it should be there, for that has been in the news quite a lot of late, and we're not hearing much about investigations in that sector. Okay, the successes or failures in that sector, because it can be just as detrimental to our country as the other types of crime, for it shows up our lack of good governance and the vulnerability to scammers and corrupt politicians and government officials. And while we are at it, I think it is high time that the judiciary, just like law enforcement, be held accountable for its work, right? Especially in some high-profile cases with which it was involved in and which it adjudicated on. For it appears that justice is dispensed according to who you are. And this is very concerning, because justice should be blind, right? So I know there's a separation of powers and separation of the arms of the state. Sometimes it becomes very blurred and they contaminate each other. But I would hope that they remain separate, but all branches, every last one, including the judiciary, because they're not, especially since they're not elected actually, they should be held to some kind of standard by somebody, okay? And so I would expect that, well, not necessarily from the police, okay, yes, produce their stats and produce comprehensive stats that include all areas of criminal activity and investigations, all right? Give us some kind of confidence that at least there's some semblance of independence from the executive. We know how that goes here. It's not like, let's say, in the States where the chief of police may be an elected person. Down here it's an appointed one, okay? And we all know who pays the piper calls the tune. But at least have some semblance of impartiality and independence. And the same thing goes for the judiciary as well, okay? Because I think a number of things has happened in that area that should give citizens cause for concern. Started out with this subterfuge with the DPP, Sinanan. Basically, it sounded almost as if he was paid off from all appearances, and there was a non-disclosure agreement involved there. Okay, and it continued with some dubious arrests and charging and then dropping charges, where it seemed as if the political interference was involved. And you have so many scandals that were supposed to have been investigated, and you hear nothing about them. That's not how a democracy is supposed to operate. That's not how a well-run state is supposed to operate. Okay, and then we have these latest hush puppy stuff. This does not sound good for our country. And like I said, it buys into the narrative that we don't know what we're doing. We're just a bunch of corrupt people down here who can be bought, and that is not a good look. Okay, so let's hope that maybe it's an issue that can be raised. What about those types of crimes? Mm-hmm. So it doesn't seem as if one particular segment of society is being ostracized. Mm-hmm. Okay then.
Right. Thank you, caller, so much for your contribution. That's a very good observation you made there, as we have had a number of cases like these that you hear about in the moment, and then after that, it's gone. Let's take this other call. Okay, we seem to have lost that caller. You can call us at 466-0989-762. 0989 and 662-0989. So we've heard of many cases like these, and after that, it's out the door, it's out the window. You never hear about it until you ask for an update on that. We have a caller on the line, so we'll take this call. Caller, good afternoon. You are live on Voices.
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Hello, good afternoon. You're live on Voices.
Thank you, good afternoon. The gentleman spoke just now about vision. And I would say that some of the black leaders, it's a shame, they know the vision, they've heard of the African Union, and they've heard of the Agenda 2063. So it's not like there's no vision for the Africans. There's this vision. It's the leadership, the vanguard, the necessary, but the leaders do need to put things in place for their people. Have them recognize that they're African, that they're black. Give them a sense of purpose, because the real purpose is that there's something happened to us that was dreadful, sir. Dreadful. The trauma is wicked. You have mothers calling their children, oh, you're too black, you're too this, or the fathers be, the madness that went down. You couldn't own your own wife. I mean, this is only a couple of years ago. We are going through some horrible trauma. When you talk about youth killing youth, that's what's going to happen. But it was also designed to happen. So I believe we have to get back to a Negro spiritual, number one. Check out those who can have the capacity. Take a trip and make sure you go on the Ethiopian Airlines. That was also going to empower economically Africa. It's going to happen. The greatest thing that is going to happen, what's going to happen, I believe, is the diaspora tourism. That's going to be the biggest thing coming up, I believe. And so I advise everybody, if you want to really know what's going down, please read King James Bible of the version Apocrypha, Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1, chapter 2. That's all you need. Chapter 1, kind of, but as you get into chapter 2, you would not believe that this is the real story. Book of Wisdom, Apocrypha, King James Version. I will understand the wickedness that's going on and what happened on the continent. These people want to claim the Garden of Eden. If you start over in the book, the King James book, the Garden of Eden talks about the Python River, the Gershon River, that encompasses Ethiopia, the river that comes out. That river starts in Kenya, Lake Victoria. It goes south, the map shows you north, but rivers run down. It goes down to, passes through Congo on the left, Ethiopia on the right. It goes down to Sudan, then North Sudan, South Sudan, North Sudan, Eritrea on the right-hand side, and it goes through Egypt. All that area is called the garden. So that's the garden. We have to understand that's the garden. When the Europeans came, they understood that. They went right away to Lake Victoria. They want to claim the Congo. They want to claim the Nile River. This is a serious thing. That is why there's Ethiopia. And the book says, is not going to stop until Ethiopia is settled, or Kush is settled. So, the brother speaking earlier, speaking about knowing yourself. It's crucial, because you have to understand the trauma of white supremacy. Even the Chinese cut their eyes to look more white. I have an Indian friend, a guy I used to work with, telling me, we had you in slavery and we're going to slave you again. Right here in St Kitts, the man tell me he had me in slavery and he'll slave me again. This Shanda Paul fella. Can you imagine that? Right here, the fella says, Indian had us in slavery and we're going to slave us again. So yes, they have their God and Chinese have their God, but we have to know our God, brother. Bless it. Hello?
Yes, caller, thank you so much for
bless.
your contribution to this program. We're still taking calls here on WINN FM 98.9. The numbers to call are 466-0989, 0989. It is Friday, September 3rd, 2021, and we have another caller on the line. Caller, good afternoon. You're live on Voices.
Yes, Cornelius. Brilliant, brilliant. I want to thank that last caller. And, you know, I just have to, my head rise just now when I hear him. But anyway, to the caller before him, the one, you know, who says that we need to strengthen our government here. We cannot strengthen our government here as long as they are signing agreement onto the West. Let me repeat that. We cannot support government in the Caribbean who are signing on to the narrative of the West. Mr. Cornelius, there was a time when a mother, a parent could have reproved a child. And what the West is telling us, if we do that, it is what? Child abuse. So you see what they are pushing on us? They're pushing their agenda on us to keep us from knowing who we were and getting back to what was. Now, I am not into the political fray because, in my opinion, that caller, he seems to have an intolerable something for our Prime Minister. I don't even want to go there with this. But I am saying we cannot support our Caribbean leaders as long as they are signing on to the narrative of the West. I would like you again, Mr. Cornelius, to remind Mr. Backus on my behalf to look into the Caribbean African Summit. It's a very historical event that's going to happen on Tuesday. I don't know if it's going to be in the Caribbean or if it's going to be Zoom. Mayor Motley, I would take it that Mr. Backus, being the journalist that he is, can have connection to Mayor Motley. Please do this for me because it's a historic event. Thank you for hearing me.
And thank you, caller, for your contribution. We'll take this break and we'll be right back.
Here are your Horsford's Value Mart IGA Value Club Blue Tax Special.
Running August 26 to September 8.
Hunt spaghetti sauces, just $4.99. Mueller's pastas, $4.99. Peter Pan peanut butter, $10.99. Post cereals, $12.99 each. Essential everyday garlic bread and the toast, $9.99. Essential everyday candied pineapples, $6.99. And now introducing our very low weekly
value deals. Essential everyday or IGA barbecue sauces, $5.99. Silk almond and soy milk, $14.99. Equaline mouthwash, $9.49. Ensure, $7.49. Essential everyday paper towel, 8 rolls, $35.99. Final touch fabric softener, $9.99. Shop smart, shop value mart. Joan in español.
Venga, listo. Y haga sus compras aquí a Value Mart.
Caller, good afternoon. You are live on Voices.
Good afternoon, Mr. Cornelius.
Good afternoon. You.
Yes, I've heard callers repeatedly mentioning the idea that we have been deprived of our spiritual heritage.
I'm not, caller, sorry, I'm not hearing you clearly.
I don't know why. You hear me now?
Okay, yes, okay. Just speak a bit, I can hear you now.
Yes, I've heard callers repeatedly talk about we've been denied our spiritual heritage, or we've been deprived of it and it's been taken from us. And some even posture some information regarding African history versus the Bible, which cannot be proven, was never proven by conventional wisdom, particularly in Africa does that a lot, because the information is given, it's never verified, it's never documented, it's proven, and accepted in national circles or conventional circles, and most of what it speaks of our legend. There is no proof to it, it was never proven, it's just that. Because if what they're saying is true, it means the Bible is wrong. But I just want them to know that you can follow the Bible from Genesis to Revelation. Every promise, every prophecy up to now has come to pass. The only prophecies that are left to come to pass are those in Revelation, Matthew 24, down to Revelation. Okay? So when they're questioning the Bible and making us feel as though we've been deprived of something, and we're given a Bible that is written by, or stories written. My thing is they're telling us that, but what are they giving us? They could never tell us what we were deprived of. All they know we were deprived of was spiritual. What was it? So since it's so know that we were deprived, they need to tell us what we were deprived of, and how it compares to what we have now, more Bible. Okay? Because none of them could bring anything. Alright? Then we quote information, but everything that the Bible says, the Christian faith, can be backed up, can be proven, and daily the archaeologists who are digging and finding proof of these things. Okay? And they're not permitted to go into some of them now. I can just let you know that in the archaeological search, there was a time when there was no historical evidence. David reigned in Jerusalem, except for the Bible. But all the way down in Turkey, it was found in Turkey, a letter, a document that was sent, corresponding communication between David and the kings of Turkey then. So, when these guys are talking, they need to make sure that they have this up. And if they can tell us what we have lost, tell us what we have made wrong, tell us what we have lost. Because they cannot tell us what we have lost. Tell us what we have lost. That's what I wanted to tell you. Tell me what I have lost, and compare what we have lost to what we have now, and see where we are. Because I rest in the Bible, and I know for a fact that it is true. It's proven, it's stand the test of time, all down to the same thing, until Christ returns as prophesied in the Bible. Thank you very much.
Thank you, caller, for your contribution to this program. Quickly, if I can bring in here a public service announcement from SCASPA, the St. Christopher ANC Post Authority. It says, we wish to inform the public that facility Shed 2 in Bird Rock will be open tomorrow, Saturday, September 4th, from 9 a.m. until 12 noon to facilitate the clearance of cargo. Please take note. Let's take this call. Okay, we are losing that call. We lost that call. Let's take this one. Caller, good afternoon. You're on the air.
Yes, good afternoon again, Mr. Cornelius.
Yes.
You can't say on one hand that Caribbean leaders are at fault for not providing leadership or vision for Caribbean people, and then give them a pass in the same breath. And the caller was right. I really feel that the best that we can do for our race and our people, our countries in the Caribbean right now, is to show that we can govern ourselves properly. And there's no reason that we should tolerate the kinds of things, the kind of governance that goes on here. Okay, there's no room in that for corrupt people, whether prime minister, politician, or other leaders in the community. Okay? Because all of them know better. You know, they put things concerning governance in black and white and then come in and do nothing about them. Okay? All they do is perpetuate the same status quo. It's nothing personal against the Prime Minister. He just happens to be the leader right now and the one with the power to make the changes in our governance that he promised. And he's not doing it and should be held accountable. I mean, who does the caller think is signing on to these Western edicts? It's the governments that are in power right now. So they should be held accountable. Right? We have no armies, no nuclear weapons. The only way we can get the respect of the developed countries is if we show we can improve and perfect on the governance systems that they left us. And in order for that to happen, everybody should be held accountable, and we don't tolerate the kind of nonsense that goes on in our governance. That is what's going to make the difference. Okay, then.
Thank you, caller, for your contribution. We're still taking calls here on Voices. It's 111. Let's take this call. Caller, good afternoon. You're on Voices.
Yes, Cornelius. Yeah. You know, to your last caller, when he said we, you see, we have to be specific because we here in the diaspora cannot become that body until we link with the African continent. Let me repeat that. We cannot come as that body that can bring the change that we need for our race until we come link with the African continent. Now, as for the caller who's asking the question as to what he being deprived of, I'll say to you, caller, I mean, I couldn't make out clearly what you were saying. I'll say to him, Google Lord Macaulay's letter to the British Parliament in 1835, the 2nd of February. You Google that and read it. You may come across some theatrics, but they're doing that now just to show people off. Google Lord Macaulay's letter, the 2nd of February, 1835, and you would see what you're being deprived of. To the caller who is saying that he wants to know what he is deprived of. Again, let me repeat this, Cornelius. They broke us away from our spirituality, and while nothing is wrong with Christianity, Cornelius, our spirituality was higher. It is higher than Christianity. They gave us religion, and we are living out their narrative. We are living out their narrative on every sphere, in Christianity, in politics, in everything that they're trying at us. We can only find ourselves if we go back to what we had. And it is in the Word. That's why I say, when you read the book, don't just read the book. Look behind the Word and see what is playing out in our reality today. Because they know our history, Cornelius. They know it. They have it pinned down to a T. They are showing us who we are now in entertainment, Cornelius. That's why I asked if you're familiar with the movie Saw, Gods of Egypt, Avatar. These movies are our history that they have. Cornelius, the Pope today, presently, he's not doing this in public, but things are leaking because I said before, we are not in the era of knowledge. Knowledge being increased long time ago. We are in the era of truth. And however, what is hidden will not remain hidden forever. The Pope and his oligarchies, they are bowing to a black Madonna and child. You go into Russia, they have a black Madonna and child, which signifies the Virgin Mary that they give us. I'm going to explain the Immaculate Conception, Cornelius. And to the caller who says Wednesday that I need my own show, all I can ask is that she be patient. Hear me patiently, Cornelius, because it's my zeal to redeem our people from the misery that they have placed upon us. Thank you for hearing me.
Thank you for your contribution. It is 15 minutes past the hour of 1 in our studios at WINN FM 98.9. Just to slip in this announcement again, the facility Shed 2 at Bird Rock will be open tomorrow, Saturday, September 4th, from 9 a.m. to 12 noon to facilitate the clearance of cargo. Let's take this call. Hello, good afternoon. You are on Voices.
Good afternoon, Devon. How are you doing?
Good afternoon. I'm fine, thanks.
While you're in school, before you get one lesson, it lick in, it lick out. If my daughter out there listening, I am waiting here on you. Supposed to be going to the doctor to get my blood test results. Waiting on my beautiful daughter to come and pick me up to take me. Anyway, so if you're listening, I'm waiting on you, baby. Now let me get to my good friend. Is he aware that Gaston Brown is the present chairman or whatever of CARICOM? I didn't hear him call Gaston name. And this communication with Africa is nothing new, you know. This thing had been planned a long time ago. And many of the Caribbean countries have bilateral relations with different countries in Africa. So I want him to tell me, because I want to be educated, you see. How many of the African countries belong to the African Union? That's one. And it's a good thing. It's a good thing because I have met Africans a lot of places. And I want to ask them again, what was the problem in Rwanda when the dark skin was killing the lighter skin? That's one. But I want to hear about the African thing. Now, does he know that there was slavery in Ethiopia all up to 1936? The darker skinned people, the Rasta they may want to hear, but I don't research it. Not the Rasta, forgive me. The darker skin. Because when you look at El Selassie, you see he's not black, eh? He's mixed. You can watch his nose and everything. I was so shocked to learn that the darker skinned people in Africa, in Ethiopia, were still in slavery. He abolished it after the last war that they had. 36, 37, somewhere around here, so. And I asked him again, he's not answering the Muslim question, you know. I don't know if he knows that the Muslims in Africa became Muslim two ways. You either convert or you conquer. And does he know that the Muslims took out more than twice the amount of Africans out of Africa? And why is he not condemning it? I was so shocked to learn over 40 million Africans were taken out of Africa and spread across the Mediterranean and into the other countries there by force. And even today, they are converting people by force. And not a drop of word. And what is our religion? Please to tell me, because different tribes have different gods and different things. If Africa doesn't have one religion. And so when we having the blood hand washing, please to put the Muslims in. The Muslims hand full of blood, the Catholic Church, and the Anglican and other Christian religions. No question about it. I would never, because the Bible says, woe to the man who called evil good and good evil. But they are deliberately leaving out the role of the Muslims or the Arabs, if you want to call them, in the decimation of Africa. 40 million in 12 or 21. Africans can be found all over the world scattered. And they're still treated as inferior by the Muslims. So I'm waiting. I asked you already, are you a Muslim? Yes or no? And what exactly is Africa's religion? Explain that to me.
Thank you, caller, for your contribution. If you're listening, that is your question from Miss Henry. We'll take this caller. Caller, good afternoon. You're on Voices.
Good afternoon, Mr. Cornelius. I'm back. No doubt, Mrs. Henry, the New Age religions are competed for. It seems as if Christianity, or what we know as Christianity, because Christianity existed long before, not in this way, but because of the politics. Of course, Mohammedans is who went across what we call the trans-Saharan scriptures. We are aware of it. But you know what I always say? Not negating that, not denying that. I was stung by growing up into a community that my reality was the quote-unquote Christian religion. So even though I am not denying the Islamic aspect, there are persons who concentrate on that aspect. Not to say that I cannot speak about it, but persons who are living out that type of reality. My reality is that I was presented with a book that I come to discover is I wrote it. When I say I wrote it, remember Bob Marley say, I remember on the slave ship how they brutalized my very soul. Unless you don't put yourself there, you will have no honor. Like the Bible says, honor your mother and your father. You will have no honor for your forebearers. You have to put yourself there, because without them, this blood wasn't going to pass down for me that I am enjoying today. So that is the reality. We are too distant from our forebearers and what has been happening. And for the caller who called and talk about the book, no, we are only seeing how the book was relabeled, repackaged, like everything else, like the gods that came out of Egypt, like the golden calf, that Moses went up into the thing and they got frustrated and they remember, wow, this is a god. No, it's not a god, it's a goddess. Like Juve Vave, the Tetragrammaton, no, it's not a god, it's a goddess. So these are the things we are seeing, and we are just only putting them into perspective, because the culture that Lord Macaulay say we not to be known of, because of the language, we would not see these things that are interwoven into the culture. And for the caller who talk about the Bible and we're not seeing these things, Sir Alan Gardner, the Chester Betty Papyri, it is in the British Museum, that speaks about Joseph's Potiphar story about Potiphar's wife, one is Joseph's. It was a story about two brothers. And the stele that have on the 7 years of famine for the 7 years of plenty, it is there. Everything has been unearthed to this day. So they are all there. We are only putting the book into its perspective from the narrative of an English version that we were forced not to continue with our language, but we need the English version. I wonder why. Today we speak English. That's some of a lot of us reality. We have no other choice. But the little words that I know in the indigenous languages of the African continent, it suffices to know. It is enough to know that these people will label things and presenting it to us as if, well, wow, this is new. No, there is nothing new under the sun. And it's ours. We know it's the goddess that they turned to a god, because there was a male chauvinist people that decide to sidelines our mothers. Sidelines our mothers. Those who gave birth to all of humanity. That's what they did. So we're just putting it back into perspective to say that in order for the family to be whole again, we must respect our mothers, because they're the ones that will always and forever, by nature, grow the nation, grow the communities, grow the nation. And without the mother, everything will cease, because they give birth to all of humanity, and they will continue to do that. So we're just putting things into perspective. We say God, he, when it's supposed to be she. Nothing wrong with saying Jehovah. Let's put Jehovah into the proper perspective, because in the cosmos, there are masculine energies and there are also feminine energies. Otherwise, everything would have been out of sync. things are going out of sync. That's why the earth is pushing back. So we're trying to bring back the balance and save the earth. We are the custodians of this earth. And so that is what. We have a version, the Kingdom, we appreciate it, but we are seeing it with a 2020 vision, what it is, from the linguistic etymology to the culture. Have you heard about Joseph's coat of many colors? Go and investigate who makes coat of many colors today, and you will find out that every and the Akan people and the various peoples in Africa still makes that coat. And it's the fathers who gave coat and coat make certain things for the children and the wives. This tradition, the culture still maintains the kente cloth. The kente cloth. Joseph's coat of many colors. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, caller, for your contribution. It's 1:25. We are going to begin wrapping up. Let us say a quick thank you to our sponsors. When we come back, we will wrap up this program.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is WINN FM.
Be a hero. September is the month of heroes in St Kitts and Nevis. And for the months of September to October, Bosphorus Automotive wants you to be a hero too. Yes! Drive like a hero at the massive Bosphorus Automotive Be a Hero sales event. Go to Horsford's Automotive today and drive away like a hero with up to $35,000 discount on select models. Your choice of either free gas for 3 months or up to $1,000 in free groceries. Pay just 10% VAT. Yo, just 10% VAT. Free servicing for 1 year. Free bill of sale. Free registration, licensing, and tinting. Zero down payment. That's right. Absolutely zero down payment. And much, much more. Drive away like a hero from Horsford's Be a Hero sales event. The biggest, most heroic sales event ever in the Federation. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
Announcing the development of the National Gender Policy and Action Plan. To be completed December 2021.
The National Gender Policy and Action Plan is a country document that will assist the Federation of St Kitts and Nevis in attaining gender equality and empowerment by
promoting social harmony,
addressing the unique concerns of men and women,
promoting equal opportunity for income generation, educational advancement, and upward mobility,
championing inclusivity.
Look out for the launching of our gender policy, a commitment to gender equality for all boys and girls, men and women.
Sponsored by the Ministry of Social Development and Gender Affairs with funding by UNESCO.
Welcome back to Voices on WINN FM 98.9. We're basically at the end. It's 1:28, and so we're going to begin wrapping up this program. We're coming back tomorrow for Insider News. We're going to have a discussion on long COVID-19 symptoms and what you should know, what exactly is long COVID, how to treat yourself if you have long COVID, and we're gonna have some medical professionals on that panel to weigh in on this topic. Let me just use this opportunity to say thank you to all of you who joined us today, Friday, for Voices. Those of you who tuned via the radio, those of you who tuned via the social media, thank you so much for tuning in. It was a very good conversation today, and thank you guys again for your support, and thank you for bringing your different views and perspectives on different things happening here in St Kitts and Nevis in an effort to you have this public discourse in an effort to address some of these issues that we hope would be addressed from the authorities. But again, thank you guys so much, and until next time, stay safe. Have a wonderful, fantastic Friday. Remember, COVID-19 cases are on the rise. I think we're now at 502 active cases, and confirmed cases are at 1,166, and so the COVID cases are increasing rapidly. So I just want to use this opportunity to encourage you to follow the established COVID-19 control and prevention measures. And if you have been cleared by your medical professional to be vaccinated, then of course do that. I just want to slip in here quickly before I leave that the St Kitts National Youth Parliament Association is celebrating 20 years. The association was formed on September 13th, 2001 by founding fathers the Honorable Dr. Jeffrey Hanley and the late Desmond Eli Ward. So I just want to use this platform to encourage you to support Sniper. On Sunday, they'll be having a virtual launch. The virtual launch will take place on Sunday at 4 p.m. This event will be streamed live via Sniper's Facebook and YouTube pages, which is the St Kitts National Youth Parliament Association. And of course, of the second annual Ward Hanley Scholarship and Mentorship Program. The recipients of that program will be announced on Monday. So Sniper has a number of celebratory events and activities set to kick off in just a few days to commemorate their 20th anniversary. So congratulations to Sniper, and on behalf of all of us here at WINN FM, we wish you the very best in your future endeavors. And I just want to encourage you, members of the public, to support Sniper in their endeavors. This has been Voices, and I've been your host for today, Devon Cornelius. We're going to wrap up, and we'll see you tomorrow for Inside the News. Until next time, stay safe.
Is once again giving away double cashback for free groceries for the months of September to December. Every customer at the Horseman's Furniture and Appliances showroom in St Kitts and in Nevis gets double cashback coupons for absolutely free groceries. But it doesn't stop there. Every higher purchase customer will also get a chance to win. Yep, get double cashback for free groceries and a chance to win absolutely free groceries for a year with every $100 spent on higher purchase. By popular demand, we're doing it again. Double cashback for free groceries, plus a chance to win free groceries for a year. Come to Horseman's Furniture and Appliances today and expect low prices, expect great quality, expect free delivery, expect double cashback for free groceries, expect a chance to win free groceries for a year, expect the extraordinary terms and conditions apply.